Police on Monday released a dramatic body camera video that shows an officer unleashing a fatal volley of at least 8 shots at a suspected burglar as the suspect's car careens across a dead-end street and crashes into a row of bushes. 27-year-old Michael Wilson Jr. was killed Sunday after shots were fired by Officer Corey Clark in the 200 block of Golden Isles Drive. A second burglary suspect who had been approaching the Toyota took off running. That second suspect, identified by authorities as Tyler L. Schumann, was taken into custody following a search that lasted more than 2 hours. Although Schumann is not accused of pulling the trigger, he remains legally responsible for Wilson's death because the two were committing a crime when the police officer fired the fatal shot, according to officials. Schumann was ordered held without bond on a charge of felony murder.
We received a call that a citizen reported that some individuals were looking into a car or several cars with flashlights. Our units went to the area. Once 3 units arrived to the area, they immediately noticed a car behind them, directly to the rear of them, with the passenger door that was open. Once they began to approach that car, the passenger door immediately closed. They approached the car, they began to order instructions to the occupant of the vehicle to stop, show them hands. The vehicle then, the occupant started the vehicle. The vehicle then began to reverse. Once the vehicle began to travel backwards, one of our officers, using his metal baton, began to bang on the window. So in the video, you'll hear some loud crashing sounds. They sound like they're gunshots, but they're not gunshots. They're actually officers striking the window with this metal baton. At that time, Officer Corey Clark, who was the third officer on scene, had positioned himself away from the vehicle, anticipating that the vehicle was going to pull off and travel, which is actually in a southern direction away from him. When the vehicle began to take off, the vehicle all of a sudden turned and began turning towards Officer Clark, and Officer Clark discharged his firearm. Multiple shots were fired at the vehicle. The vehicle then careened out of control, subsequently striking other parked vehicles and coming to rest on the sidewalk in front of the same location. They immediately then noticed someone running away from the vehicle.
Hollandale Beach police officer shoot, kill man suspected in vehicle burglaries. Hollandale Beach police released a dramatic body camera video Monday that shows an officer unleashing at least 8 shots at a suspected car burglar. Mike Clary contact reporter Sun Sentinel Police on Monday released a dramatic body camera video that shows an officer unleashing a fatal volley of at least 8 shots at a suspected burglar as the suspect's car veers across a dead-end street and crashes into a row of bushes. "Stop! Stop!" One of Hollandale Beach officers yells at the man in the gray Toyota Corolla, while another officer shouts, "Let me see your hands." Then, as the car first backs up before lurching forward, the shots ring out, peppering the driver's side of the car and killing 27-year-old Michael Wilson Jr. of Pompano Beach. He was hit in the neck and pronounced dead at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, police said. The shots were fired at about 4:30 a.m. Sunday by Officer Corey Clark, while the chaotic scene was being videotaped by Officer Richard Ecobelli, who had a body cam pinned to his hat, according to Police Chief Dwayne Flournoy. Police began wearing the body cams in December. Clark's body cam was not activated, police said. Immediately after the shots are fired in the 200 block of Golden Isles Drive, a second burglary suspect who had been approaching the Toyota takes off running. He's fleeing on foot. Running northbound. "Get the K9 up here," shouts an officer. That second suspect, identified by authorities as Tyler L. Schumann, 23, was found hiding in a pool closet at 437 Golden Isles Drive and taken into custody to end the search that lasted more than 2 hours, according to police. At a Monday morning court hearing, Broward Circuit Judge Ari Porth ordered that Schumann be held without bond on a charge of felony murder. Although Schumann is not accused of pulling the trigger, He remains legally responsible for Wilson's death, because the two were committing a crime when the police officer fired the fatal shot, officials said. The shooting occurred while Wilson was driving his vehicle toward the officer, putting the officer in fear for his life, at which point he opened fire, killing Wilson, prosecutor Eric Linter said. As a result, Wilson was killed during the perpetration of a burglary of a conveyance. The video lasts 1 minute and 17 seconds, and Flournoy said it backs up the contention of police that Clark was in fear for his safety and the safety of other officers when he opened fire. Flournoy said he decided to release the video of events that took place barely 36 hours earlier in light of what's going on, questions of police-involved shootings. This gives us a chance to quash those concerns. Calling the video compelling, Flournoy said making it public would show how officers have to make split-second decisions. He added that the shooting was 1000% justified. It's very compelling, and you can see how quickly things can change, Flournoy said. But Wilson's grandmother, Mary Nobles, wondered Monday if deadly force was necessary. I always told them that as a young black man, you have to be cautious because in a split second you could be blown away, she said. After Wilson was released from prison about 3 years ago, he promised his mother and his grandmother that he was going to find work and stay out of trouble. And after several setbacks, Paula Nobles said her son seemed to be on the right path. He started work with a moving company 2 weeks ago, said Nobles, 43. And he was getting to work on time. The incident began when police received a call at 4:22 a.m. that someone with a flashlight was looking into cars parked at 137 Golden Isles Drive, police said. Ego Belli, who filmed the encounter, was the first of 3 officers to arrive on the scene. Clark responded as backup, Flournoy said, and switched on his body came only after the shooting. No weapons were found on Wilson, Schumann or in the car, police said. Nobles said that the oldest of her 6 children was a handful even as a child. He dropped out of Coconut Creek High School in his junior year, said Mary Nobles, his grandmother. Wilson had been arrested many times over the years, according to Florida Department of Law Enforcement records. The criminal charges ranged from drug possession and burglary to robbery and aggravated assault. Yet, Paula Nobles said, he was a good child. Not perfect, but he was more than just another criminal. Mary Nobles said that when she heard the news that the grandson she helped raise had been killed, I felt like I was stabbed through the heart. If there is any news worse than hearing about the death of a child, I couldn't live through it. In the aftermath of the shooting, police said there was evidence that several cars on the street had been broken into. Behind the Ocean View Towers building, at 401 Golden Isles, 2 cars, a silver BMW 328i and a black Mercedes-Benz S550, had been broken into. The silver BMW had its passenger side window completely smashed out. Its owner was seen talking to detectives. Police said they found evidence that 13 cars had been broken into in the area, and that Schumann had some stolen property in his possession, including credit cards and a plastic bag that contained loose change. In a statement to police, Schumann admitted his and Wilson's intent was to commit burglaries because they needed money for their dates, according to a probable cause affidavit. Police said the Toyota that Wilson was driving was stolen. Clark, hired by Hollandale Beach in 2013, has been placed on administrative leave with pay while an investigation into the incident continues, police said. Staff writer Tanya Alanes and researcher Barbara Ejett contributed to this report. CLARIATTribune.com